AmandaLand, AmandaLand, AmandaLand.
Arm yourself with truth. Arm yourself with curiosity. Arm yourself with love. Arm yourself with community. Arm yourself with courage. Arm yourself with passion. Arm yourself with radical creativity. Save yourself. A new drop from AmandaLand Exports. Good morning. Welcome to Views from AmandaLand. Your news and truths by any joke necessary. I don't know why this printer always be dropping my papers on the ground. How's everybody doing out there? Happy, what day is this? Happy Wednesday. Whoo, child. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, happy Wednesday. Hey, Renato Pachow. Renato, we have this map. And we have been adding folks from all over the world who are watching from all over the world. And yesterday somebody was like, wait a minute, we have somebody from Brazil who's typically here. And I was like, oh yeah. And it was Renato. So shout out to Renato who holds us down for Brazil. Renato, where in Brazil are you? So I can put the pin in the proper place. Let me know. Miss Latia already done come in with the hard truths. We ain't even started the show. Okay, you in Sao Paulo. Okay. Bam. All right. Yes, the U.S. map is going to pop off. I'm going to definitely get the U.S. map popping shortly. I got to order it. But good morning to everybody out there. Welcome to Views from AmandaLand, your news and truths by any joke necessary. Thank you for waking up on the right side of history. So the Save Yourself drop is out right now, and you can get it at AmandaLand Exports. And I had like this brainwave to add some hair to the bookmarks. Okay. And I'm very proud of it. And y'all, I went to the hood to get it. All right. So I'm very proud of this. And this is a part of your orders. All right. You're also getting in the bunch. So if you get the pin comes with the bookmark. Remember, you can go to AmandaLand Exports. The pin comes with the bookmark. This is the pin. Okay. And then this is the little notepad. I'm very proud of this notepad. Save yourself. Okay. And then you got the Save Yourself patch. Next month's drop is going to be cards for Mother's Day. So it doesn't make sense for me to do it in May because that's when Mother's Day is. So next month's drop is going to be cards for Mother's Day. And so it'll be like a pack of 4 different designs. Like one of the designs is this. That's one of the designs. I love this design so much. So wait, what? Trump said segregation is legal. Child, hold on. Wait, let's just live in the art for a second. Okay? Just give me a second. Let me just live in the art for a second. Okay, let me just live in the art for a second. Just for a second. We gonna get there though. And then I have this painting that I did, and I want to do a pin based on this illustration. So I'm gonna show you this illustration real quick. And what this illustration is about. This illustration is about, hold on, because the light is too high on it. So this illustration is about, oh, thank you. Somebody made an order. Yay! So this is in a painting that I did. And what this illustration is about turning from violence to love, education, peace, and love. And I want that for our brothers. And I want to do a pin of this brother right here. That's what I want to do. I want to do a pin of this brother with all the arms and the crown. And it's similar to some of the deities that we see in other cultures. Like in the Hindu cultures, they be having hella arms. And so I'm gonna do a whole thing around this. So that's coming up. So we're just in the art right now for a second, because we're about to go down into the worst of the worst. What you mean Trump said segregation is legal? I mean, it essentially is, because that's what's happening. I told y'all this. And I'm going to keep saying I told y'all so that people stop ignoring me, so that we can actually band together in a better way instead of ignoring those of us who actually be telling us. I said we was getting pushed towards segregation during the Amanda Seales show. Anybody who listened to my radio show knows that I've been saying that. That they're going to push us towards education. And so, towards segregation. And so we need to absolutely make that mind shift of community. Yo. This man says segregated facilities are no longer explicitly banned in federal contracts. There you go. Now, here's the irony in this. Edward Bloom and the whole DEI situation is about saying that there was segregation and discrimination. There was discrimination against the whites. However, if they're saying that segregation is not an issue in federal contracts anymore, then, well, you just reversed what the heck he was saying before. This is the world this is the America we're in. This is the America that we're in. And thank you, Tara, for saying I remember Miss Seales. Thank you, because I be liking my little affirmation. But this is the America we're in. This is where we're going, and it's only gonna get more and more overt. And what's going to happen, I really believe, is that the poor whites, I think, are actually going to flip. I'm telling you, because unless they can figure out a way, and they've done this before, so they may find a way to do this now, but unless they can figure out a way to give, these people incentive to hold blacks down, which they have done before, then we're going to see this go on. Paloma asked, Amanda, will you still be attempting to do lives breaking down informative videos despite the challenge from last night? Yes, but it's going to have to be on a different platform. So it may have to be on Twitch. So last night I was on YouTube Live and I was literally breaking down a video of Representative Jamie Raskin talking about like the constitutional law and what people can do to challenge Doge, etc. And YouTube kept freezing my video. And it was not by accident, y'all. I mean, this happened at least 4 times and finally I just gave up. So everybody here should sign up for Twitch, because that is where I will do those types of, that type of information. I will be on Twitch. And I have a Twitch account. It's Amanda Seales. So if you want to be a part of that, you're going to need to sign up for Twitch so that we can gather over there, which, you know, what we going to do? But yes, it was hella creepy, Patricia, and it was very real. And, you know, everything is owned by everyone. Everything is owned by everyone. So this is where we are. So it's like you can't really avoid. Okay. Good morning, Ms. Lobo, y'all. I told y'all yesterday I reconnected with my 6th grade teacher. We got my 2nd grade teacher in here. You see, it pays to be the teacher's pet. I mean, I guess I could stream on both at the same time, but I don't know what that would do, because the whole issue was that YouTube was cutting me off. And when they start cutting you off, that's essentially them flagging you. And when they start flagging you, that means that they're going to start getting in your way. So I need to get a premium Twitch account. Okay, teach me, people. Teach me. All right, I need to get a premium Twitch account. Okay, Brandon McGrath, I'm going to get me a premium Twitch account. Can y'all please stop asking me about this? Like this is even a good place? Fanbase is not a good app. It's not even a good app. And the man who runs it is not a good person. Stop talking about this app. He's not a good person. The app ain't even good. And just because I said this, he gonna start running his mouth now. Like, can we stop? Like, he is ridiculous. How many times is this man gonna say to the people, Amanda Seales is a bad person. Amanda Seales, not even a bad person. Amanda Seales is not for black people. That's what he said. Amanda Seales is not for black people. He done said this shit so many times. He done said this thing so many times. So I'm just like, can we stop acting like this man? Like, just because things are black owned don't mean that they are black positive. Can we say that again? Just because things are black owned don't mean they are black positive. We can say that about a number of spaces. Just because it's black owned doesn't mean it's black positive. And that is real. And that is what happens in capitalism. In capitalism, the goal is to get a bottom line. And people will use blackness to get a bottom line on a regular basis. That's why, like, when we see black folks in politics, just because they're a black politician doesn't mean they're pushing black policy. I'll say it again. Just because they're a black politician doesn't mean they're pushing black policy. And for what it's worth, a number of these black politicians are really just there as tools of the establishment to convince black people to continue to support and prop up a government that does nothing for them, instead of using our energy to dismantle the government that does nothing for them and build something better in its place. You see? So again, and we can use this for every group. Just because it's Asian doesn't mean it's Asian positive. Just because, like, everybody be exploiting in the name of capitalism all the time. And yes, Sarah pointed out Barack Obama. Barack Obama and Kamala Harris are both tools that were used to make black people prop up and support an establishment that does not support them. There was $1 billion raised. $1 billion raised. Where's it at? Where's it at? Do black-owned business owners go out their way to support other black businesses? I want to know. I mean, that's just way too general of a statement. I am a black person. I go out of my way to support black businesses all the time. Yes. However, that's really A real thing. Now, I love that this person is saying, and what about the gays? And I can tell you that Brandon is not, I'll bet you Brandon is gay. So if you think he was trying to diss the gays, I feel like he's gay because he just used child in a sentence. Child, I'm still getting texts about donating. Okay. At least whatever, who did a whole follow-up video to the tomfoolery of the tomfoolery of the goddamn. We were supposed to talk about Palestine. We had so many things to do before we started 60-second headlines. We've got a lot to get into. You know what? I may actually save that and do that as yeah, anyways, sorry, I got distracted. That lady who did the after video when they was in there with the paddles and the pink, she's talking about, please donate. Ma'am, you just sat here and said that Reagan was a great president. I need you to get out of here. I need you to get out of here. Cut it out. So we got to remind you about some things. I will be at the movies this weekend. Yes, I will be for Smart Funny and Black at the movies. Sorry, not this weekend. This Thursday. Sorry, tomorrow. I will be at Smart Funny and Black at the movies at Nighthawk Theater. Come out and join us. We will be taking and breaking down They Clone Tyrone and talking about the use of comedy as commentary in this piece. So make sure you come and join me on that. It's going to be a really great time. And I just look forward to always to meeting you guys in person and being in space with you guys. I also want to let you know that I had an epiphany yesterday about the AmandaLanders, and I am definitely going to put together an AmandaLand summit. It's going to be the AmandaLand Summit, and I am putting it together. I can feel the thoughts coalescing. So what it's going to take to put it together is, ideally, I would like to hire somebody within the SEAL squad who organizes things like this. Everybody else will be volunteers. I will not be making any money off of this. All registration costs will go to the actual costs of the event. I will sell merch at the event. Like, that's where I will get my profit from if I make anything. And it will be an event that would last from a Friday evening all day Saturday, as well as Sunday morning, and then people can leave. I mean, not people can leave, but it would end Sunday morning. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a form that has like some of the volunteer needs where people can sign up for the volunteer needs. Now, someone said a sister event needs to be in Canada. ICE is too real. Well, fly in. Or are you saying you can't because ICE would prevent you? Mika, you might be new here, but this show is not about you. And I'm not sure why you seem to think it is. There are 476 people in here, and for some reason you think I need to pause and reply to whatever you're saying. So this little hello, ... any comments, 2 question marks, comment down. I don't know who you're talking to, but this is not your show. Please decenter yourself. I see, Megan. Canadians are a little too scared. Well, you know what we can do? We can make it, we'll figure out how to make it so that we can stream stuff. Okay? So we'll figure out how to make it so that people can definitely stream stuff. Sarah, stop talking like you're black. You are not a black person. Stop using AAVE. Oh, someone be trying it again. You don't talk like that. I saw you say sis the other day, and I saw you say girl. You don't talk like that. Don't talk like that. You're not black. So we all need to, I'll figure out how to make it, someone said, okay, but do we have another platform besides YouTube to build community? What do y'all want from me? What do you mean? What what do y'all want from me? I have a whole Patreon. I just said we'll be on Twitch. No, I'm not going to do another Mighty Networks. You know how much it costs to get a site built on Mighty Networks, Amir? $30,000. It costs $30,000. Do you know how much it costs to keep a community going on Amir? I mean, on Mighty Networks, Amir? Thousands. You know how I know this? Because I did it. I did it. I did. I had SFB Society. Started it in 2020. I did it. I did it. So, she didn't grow up with black people. I already asked her that. I already asked her if she grew up with black people. She didn't grow up with black people. So, and at the end of the day, you know what it is, Jonathan? It's not even like they're dictating, but it's just like, how much, what do y'all want from me? Like, I do a free podcast called Small Doses that I've been doing for 7 years. I do a free show right here called Views from AmandaLand 3 days a week. I also do a Patreon that's only $5, but everyone gets everything, even if you decide to donate more. I do free live shows because I've decided to no longer do ticketing. I'm over here talking about doing what will be a very cost-effective summit for AmandaLand. It's like I do live streams where I'm teaching. So I don't know, Shelly. I don't know. So I just feel like sometimes y'all are not really like thinking through. I don't want to do ticketing, Renato, because of two reasons. One, I hate selling tickets. It's just, I don't like doing it. I like peddling my wares. Like, I like peddling showing my art and buy this art, right? But selling tickets always just feels like a death spiral of frustration. And the second reason is really because I feel like the art that I'm doing is for the people. And there is enough money from other sources that doesn't have to come from the people in order to see the art. Now, if they want to donate, if they want to drop in the bucket, fine. But I can get the financial support of the art in other ways. I went to Hollywood and I was successful in Hollywood enough to where I don't have to have the same bottom line. Do I still need to make compensation off of my work, off of my voice? Absolutely. Do I still deserve compensation off of my work and off of my voice? Absolutely. However, I can be a lot more, I just have the ability to parse out where that is coming from in a much more clear way. Andrew said he gonna ask me to bungee jump at an action park. I just feel like sometimes y'all be, this is why they be telling you don't try too hard at work. Because if you try too hard at work, they're gonna be like, oh, she the one that be doing all the most. So let's just give her all the work. And when you in the group project and you be going too hard, everybody else in the group be like, all right, I ain't gotta do that. I ain't gotta do that. I think sometimes y'all forget also, I'm 43 and I've been in this business since I was 8. I've been working and paying taxes since I was 8. So I am like the equivalent of 65 in terms of retirement age. Like I am at that age. So I'm really just trying to continue to maintain and also create pathways for which I can do what I am sent here to do. And as Miss Latia says, I need to get my income, but it's not my primary motivator. As I read from my piece that I read y'all the other day, money don't move me. Money don't move me. But I've definitely seen some of y'all in here saying that you're interested in volunteering, and so look forward to that. Katrina said, please don't make her retire, y'all. Please don't make her retire, y'all. Corinne said, possible reframe. Okay. Folks are posing ideas to you because you're clearly a leader that is executing. You are enough. Appreciate all you do to cultivate community. Thank you, Corinne. I'm just saying, like, I didn't ask for ideas. Sometimes I ask for ideas. And when I ask for ideas, I am able. So here's the thing. I think that your best bet is presenting things when there is an effort of reception. So I say that don't throw things out at people when they're not in a moment of, when they're not able to receive. That's a waste of your energy. I oftentimes ask for input and ask for ideas, right? And so when I do that, that is when I'm going to be the most receptive, and that is when you're going to be the most effective. And so there's a convergence right there that is really a dope, like, supernatural moment of exchange. But I am somebody who is very rigid and regimental in my thinking. And so when I'm not in that space, it feels like your ideas are like trying to throw my thoughts off of their path. And I'm trying to stick to the path. Thank you for the seals, Korean. Okay. But yeah. So, okay. Iron Camellia said, this is my discussion with my husband often. I'm not looking for a fix. Just listen. So I am a very big believer that we also have it within us a lot of times to find the path that is most organic for us. And part of that journey ends up being like getting out of your head and putting it out into the world, right? So that's what venting is for me. Venting is like clearing space in my mind for new thoughts and new possibilities to come in to give me more ideas. You know? So sometimes when you feel like someone is just like venting and it's annoying to you, it might be worth saying, hey, do you want me to give you input or do you want me to just listen? And they'll tell you. Because sometimes I just want you to listen, but sometimes I'm like, what are your thoughts? You feel me? What are your thoughts? All right. Let's get into, oh, by the way, I decided I'm going to start Taekwondo. Yeah, I'm going to start Taekwondo. Now, Joed said a research project is a beautiful mode of bringing your ideas and thoughts to life, which I am going to go into for my PhD, but I'm also going to assign you all a research project as well at the end of this class today. I'm going to assign you a research project. So we'll get into that. Okay. Shall we get into our shooby-dooby-dooby-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Yeah. AmandaLanders here to learn. Drop in and tell me where you from. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. AmandaLanders here to learn. Drop in and hold on. You know what I just realized? I just realized that I thought I had booked somebody for our 60-second headlines, and I actually booked them for April 2nd. This is why I need help. This is why. Oh my gosh. Doing too much. AmandaLanders here to learn. Drop in and tell me where you from. We got Maryland, Washington Heights. Oh, yeah. No, Nikkolas Smith is with us. AmandaLanders here to learn. Drop in and tell me where you from. We got Omaha, Nebraska, Los Angeles, Detroit, Minnesota. We got Mississippi, Flatbush, Booker. We got Portland, Oregon. AmandaLanders here to learn. Drop in and tell me where you from. Sarah Palmer is from Nyack but lives in the Czech Republic. Yay! AmandaLanders here to learn. Drop in and tell me where you from. We got KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. You know, we love our internationals. Corpus Christi, Texas. We bopping in Texas. We got Jersey, Philly, Atlanta. Oh, wow, we have another Brazil. I don't even know this place in Brazil. What is this? Belo Horizonte, Brazil, Manchester, UK, the LBC, Atlanta, Medford, Oregon, Boston, Dusty A, Nashville, St. Louis, Missouri, Arlington, Texas. Prague is one of Fatima's favorite cities. We got Salt Lake City, Utah, Richmond, Virginia, Colorado. AmandaLanders here to learn. Drop in and tell me where you from. We got Carmel, Indiana, North Jersey, the Netherlands. London, Kalamazoo, Michigan, St. Louis, Rochester. We got another Manchester in the building. We got another Long Beach, Cali. We got another Spokane, Washington. Antia is in España. Yeah. AmandaLanders here to learn. Drop in and tell me where you're watching from. And finally, Sunday, London, UK. Las Terranas, Dominican Republic. Are you in La República Dominicana? Or are you from La República Dominicana? There's a difference. Southern Utah, Edgewood, by way of Philly. We got Mount Vernon. Shout to the late, great Heavy D. We got the Bronx, New York. Another Portland, Oregon on the train to work. AmandaLanders here to learn. Thank you for telling me where you from. All right, so we have to add to our map. We had 2 new places today. So we had somebody from a whole place, Besso, someplace in we had 2 new places. Somebody from, hold on. Oh Lord, I just dropped the pen. Okay. Belo Horizonte is in Minas Gerais. Okay, is that going to be on this map? Minas. Can you tell me like where in Brazil that is? That is in the north? Is that in the south? Is that in the center? Is that in the east? Is that in the west? Oh, here it is. Found it. It's close to not close, but it's adjacent to Sao Paulo. Okay, and then we had South Africa. She said Zulu somewhere in South Africa. MP said they are here. They are here in La República Dominicana, okay? We got Peru in the building. We got Prague, Czech Republic, and we got La República Dominicana right here. And let me see. Amir said he can assist me. Amir, send me an email to CUSTSERV@AmandaLandExports.com. Actually, no, send me an email to VFAL @smartfunnyandblack.com. Views from AmandaLand, VFAL @smartfunnyandblack.com. Okay. Where was the other place? I love that Madiana is like, who's out here in South Florida? Let's get up. Let's go get a tea. Let's go get an empanada. The live is buffering? Interesting. Anybody else having connection problems? I hope not, or else we're going to have to go over to Twitch indefinitely. Essential Oil says, I'm new. Hi. Okay, everyone says it's working for them. All right, I'm just going to put another pin in South Africa, and then hopefully that person will come back and let us know where exactly they are. Okay. So the thing about Twitch and Discord and these places is that I don't know the platform. I have to learn it. You know, like I know how this works over here. Saskia said she's hiding from the FBI, so she can't say where she's from. I'm gonna tell you, Saskia, that if you are online, the FBI know where you at. So just know that, okay? All right, just so we're clear. All right, are we ready? Armin said they just followed Twitter. Thank you. Look at this. I love seeing this. Bay Area AmandaLanders meet up. Let's make it happen. Renee Luna said, let's get it together. Iron Camellia is in Sacramento. Let's get it together. Okay, let's get it together. Rolando. They got you, sis. I just feel like if you on here, like they know where you at. They know where you at. So I feel like Twitch is probably overwhelming. This is the thing, like learning all these new things is a lot. And remember, I am a millennial. So learning these new things is a lot. Okay? We not just casually learning them. Someone said, please write in caps at me because the chat moving too fast and I can't see you. This is Mediana Echavarria. Mediana, you are in the Bay, right? You said you in the Bay. You're trying to meet up with folks in the Bay. I can't remember. No, you're in South Florida. Renee is in the Bay, and Iron Camellia is in Sacramento, and Mariana Echevarria, which is a cool name. Okay, wait. South Africa is back, y'all. Okay. Jacqueline Okayo said KwaZulu-Natal is on the east coast of South Africa. She's probably from Durban, the main capital of the province. Okay, so let's move the pin to Durban. Bam. Okay, y'all. We're getting very international, y'all. We're getting very international. We now have folks watching from all continents except Antarctica. We literally, we got to get somebody in India. But we're doing very well. I'm very proud of us. Shout out to us. Shout out to us for being a global community. Okay? Shout out to us. All right, are y'all ready? Because it is time for us to get into our word of the day. And if you weren't here yesterday, I remind you, we're doing word of the day a little different now. I found my flashcards for vocabulary words from high school. Okay? This is from my junior and senior year of high school in Miss Poro's class at Dr. Phillips High School. And I found these. And so instead of going through and trying to find words on the web, I say, you know what? Let's just take it back to the 90s. I kept them, so why not? So let's find today's word of the day. So what I'm going to need to do is I need to make a word of the day intro. Okay, I got it. I need to do that. Hold on, I missed that. Okay, today's word of the day is credence. I need to get a longer drum roll. Today's word of the day is credence. 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 And it means belief, mental acceptance. Credence. Credence is a noun. Belief, mental acceptance. A lot of times the way that you can know something is a noun is that if it starts with a something, a belief, right? Credence, noun, meaning belief, mental acceptance. Could anyone use it in a sentence? Yes, like Creedence Clearwater Revival. Sweet home Alabama. Yeah. Credence. Okay. So does anybody have credence in a sentence? Okay. Jawed says, most people have credence of what DT says because he's simple. Is that a proper use of that? I think it is. Yes. Jonathan says, I refuse to lend an ounce of credence to what Dems tell us. Yes. Melissa says, politicians lack credence when they do not act in the best interest of the people. Politicians lack credence. I feel like that's credibility. I don't know that that's the right word of the right use of the sentence. Here we go. Here's a clear one. Takes by Tay. I love that. Takes by Tay, honey. I am of the credence that this government cares less and less. Oh, baby, less and less. They don't care at all. Carmen Vila, do not lend credence to media without questioning first. That is including me. The definition again, Olivia, is a belief or mental acceptance. Many of us as children give credence to everything our parents say, and then we grow up and realize they don't know everything. All right. Chantel says, I give credence to astrology because the zodiac be zodiacing. I don't know if it does for anybody else, but the zodiac be zodiacing for me. And every time I go see an astrologist, they're like, wow, you're like really on your star's path. Like you're like literally doing everything your star said you were going to do. Yes. All right. We got Delisa Lee says, after discovering the Dems never actively supported us, I have fully become credence becoming. See, this is not proper use of the word. After discovering the Dems never actively supported us, my credence has become radicalized. I think that's the proper way to use it. All right, let's get this last one. Let's close it out. Leah Jackson says, I lend credence to my SEAL Squad and the AmandaLanders and my purpose to build and bridge communities for freedom and justice. We love it. Thank you all so much for giving us your thoughts and your takes and your sentence examples on word of the day. And let me tell you something. I love when people write in sentences and maybe it's not the correct use of the word, because sometimes we need to hear it in the wrong sense to know the right sense. So I hope no one's taking it any type of way, because that is a part of the learning process. Sometimes it's, we all here supporting each other and doing so lovingly. So shout out to everyone out there. We are going to play a little commercial, and then we are going to come back with our ambassador of the week, Nikkolas Smith. Keep it locked right here to Views from AmandaLand. Wait, am I going to play the commercial? Yes, I am.
Relationship like with your father? Soup is good, but bisque is great. I appreciate that way of. What is your relationship like with your father? Soup is good, but bisque is great. I appreciate that way of thinking.
Are these even people? Go f yourself.
Oh my God, Amanda!
Topper Shanks.
Damn, Topra!
Slow clap.
Remember, you can watch my Topper Shanks interview at Patreon, and you don't have to be a paid subscriber. You can just subscribe to Patreon. We are trying to build up the subscribership at Patreon as a space outside of the typical social media spaces, and want to remind you that the owner of Patreon is not a Zionist. He was also not there at the inauguration. So that's also part of the reason why I'm very much a big supporter and of Patreon. And you know what? Shout out to them because they're a big supporter of me. All right, let's get into our ambassador of the week. Yeah. AmandaLand. Ambassador of the week. Our distinguished guest. Here they come, yo. Here they come. Here they come, yo. Here they come. Y'all, welcome to Views from AmandaLand, artivist and illustrator, Nikkolas Smith.
Hello. How y'all doing?
Oh, I love the setup behind you. I feel like,
Why, thank you.
You're letting people
We're in my
know.
my studio today.
Is this for a book or are these just pieces?
Well, so every February, do a kind of Black History Month series on Canvas. So just pieces. Yeah.
Just art and for art in.
Yeah.
Just art and for art in. Well, let me give some people some background on the great Nikkolas Smith. All right. Y'all need
Thank
to
you for having
understand.
me, Amanda.
Oh my gosh, thank you for joining us. We are so excited. And listen, the people here, they are very much they are artivists and activists in many ways. So shout out to everybody who is here live, all of our replay folks and all of our podcast listeners. Nikkolas Smith is a native of Houston. So shout out to the H-Town. Are you from the South or you from the North?
No side. North side. Okay.
I have a little bit of knowledge about Houston, and I know that's a whole thing, South and the North. He's a Hampton alum, y'all. The real HU? Or is it Howard that calls themselves the real HU?
And, every side calls themselves real HU. I would say we are.
Okay. Shout to Hampton. Now, you were what's what I'm looking for? You were an architect at Hampton.
I was, yeah. I have a Master of Architecture, and I am an artist for a living. So we could talk about that. How that happened.
That's why I was like, I want to get to that. And you have seen a number of Nikkolas's books, as well as the work that he has done in film. He's worked on Space Jam 2, Black Panther 2, Judah and the Black Messiah, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. He's a movie poster designer, Black Panther, Beale Street, Southside with You, Dear White People, Stranger Fruit. And he is also an illustrator of the picture books, The Golden Girls of Rio, My Hair's Poofy and That's Okay, and the illustrator of this 1619 project, Born on the Water. And today, we are going to talk about Artivist. We're going to talk about Artivist, not just because it's a great book, but also I want to talk about the themes and where this came from and this concept of Artivism, because I know a lot of people are right now definitely trying to figure out where they fit into the framework of resistance, where they fit into the framework of radicalism, etc. And I know we have a lot of artists that are trying to kind of wrap their heads around where the two collide in a nation that for a lot of people forces you as an artist to figure out how to be commercial. And I know for a lot of people, they may not know how they can make the two work, right? Which I think you've done a really incredible job of doing.
Thank you.
So tell me though, how we went from architect to illustrator artiste.
Yeah. Great question. So I got to Hampton University in 2003, found out that they turned their Bachelor of Architecture program to a Master of Architecture program. Amazing. I grew up making art all the time, but I was never the type of kid to say, oh, I want to be an artist when I grow up. So studied architecture.
Why do you think that is?
I feel like, I think there's always a kind of a thing, especially from many parents, to say like, get an engineering job, maybe that's more something that's not necessarily like arts, but also I just wasn't the type of kid to say, oh, I want to be an artist. Like that's my thing. I just didn't know what I want. Yeah.
Okay. Because I was like, if they were immigrants, I was going to say, well, I can tell you exactly why.
Yeah. Right. And so I took the architecture path. I was going to go to Morehouse, and then I realized Hampton University has, this accredited amazing architecture program. It's a Master of Architecture program. Went there, immediately found out about they have a connection with Walt Disney. So they have kind of this thing where you enter this imaginations competition. Basically, there was a point at Walt Disney Imagineering where they looked around, they're like, it's a bunch of old white guys who work here. We need to start this competition to allow more diversity and equity,
That word. Right.
So entered this competition, ended up having an internship with Walt Disney Imagineering. As soon as I graduated from Hampton, I became a theme park designer, designing Disneylands and Disney Worlds all over the world for 11 years.
As
So
somebody who grew up in Orlando, my first job was at 8 years old dancing at Disney in front of the castle.
oh, that's right. I heard about that. Yeah.
What does a theme park designer design? Like in my mind, I'm just like, how does that even? Are you like,
Yeah.
okay, Neverland gonna be right here, and then
Yes. We need a Cinderella castle. We need 1 million people to move through this castle, and then when they move through this castle, then we need a Rapunzel Tower over there, and then Space Mountain needs to be redesigned, and everything that has to do with
so like you
castles.
can design
Or
roller coasters.
so I was more on the building, the walls around the coaster,
Okay,
and then
okay,
there's like
okay,
a
okay.
whole ride engineering side.
Right,
So
right,
it's,
right.
yeah,
Flavors. Okay.
so lots of things.
Did you have any part in building Animal Kingdom?
Nope, I did not work on Animal Kingdom.
Okay. Because Animal Kingdom is really one of their best works, I will say.
It is
Like- Go ahead.
It's amazing. It's incredible. We're actually going there next week for Disney Dreamers Academy. Shout out Disney Dreamers Academy. I'm gonna be doing a superhero workshop. They bring 100 students every year, mostly Black and brown kids, and we're just gonna be making art and doing magical stuff in the parks. So yeah, so that was like the whole architecture thing, and then I was doing that for 11 years, and then at the same time I would just go home nights and weekends and make art. And it was a crazy time for me. I was going through a divorce in 2013. I wanted to just pack up and move back to Texas, but my friend encouraged me to just keep making art. So doing architecture during the day, making art nights and weekends. I started doing this thing called Sunday Sketch, where it really was like artist therapy, making art to pull myself out of that moment. And so
Like for yourself or like online or
just
something?
it was
just for
for
yourself.
myself, but it was also like, I'm gonna post whatever I make. I'm gonna post it on social media.
Okay.
So every Sunday morning, like whatever this little sketch is, post it. And it really became this weekly thing that turned into what is now like the Artivism, the Sunday Sketch Artivism that I do now. So looking at, like Nina Simone's quote, like, it's an artist's duty to reflect the times. Like, we have to look at what is happening, And when I was at Hampton, actually, I was the political cartoonist for the Hampton Script. So that was the beginning of like, hey, let's look at all this crazy stuff that's going on. Maybe we can get people to laugh about, politics or important issues, or just think differently about it. So that's kind of how it started. And then it kind of just started to develop as I was doing architecture. And so many amazing things just started popping up out of this whole weekly series. I did some art of Simone Biles. I grew up in, Spring, Texas, North Houston, and went to school with Biles' big brothers. So I know, like, I used to go over their house and see this little girl doing cartwheels, and now she's like the best gymnast in the world.
Ever. She's the best
ever.
gymnast ever.
Of all time.
That's correct.
Yeah, and so I was like, I'm gonna make some art for her when she wins a gold medal. I made a sketch as a Sunday sketch, and it turned into a book deal. And so that was happening.
Casual.
Barnes and Noble, literally, like, it went viral on Facebook, and Barnes and Noble's like, can you turn this art into a picture book in 3 weeks? And I was like, yes, absolutely, yes.
Did you write it as well?
Right, yes.
Dope. All right. All
Yeah.
right.
So literally the summer of 2016, I was just making art, and then by Thanksgiving, I was a published author illustrator. Like, it just happened so fast. And
What would you say made you ready for that opportunity? Because it's like, that's the thing. Opportunity can come, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you are ready for it.
Stay ready. Stay ready. So you got to get ready. It was really that weekly series. So that at that point it was like 3 years straight of doing one art piece every Sunday. At that point, so from 2013 to 2016.
As an artist, do
And
you feel like that was shaping your ability to perform in regimen? Because I feel like that's part of the skill, right? Is being
Right.
able to pull from it even if it's not convenient.
Right. And that weekly system of like, I don't know what I'm gonna do this week, but I know I have to post something this Sunday. That kind of just keeps you going. And I always tell young creatives, like, I went to architecture school, didn't go to art school, so I had to teach myself a lot of speed painting tutorials on YouTube. You know, I had to like teach myself like how to do this. I want to do this thing, and so that's just kind of how it really developed. And so once that opportunity came, I was like, yes, 3 weeks, I will have a book. I'll have a book for you, and kind of just snowballed from there. A lot of stuff was happening in 2013. Like when I was starting to do like a lot of volunteering in South Central and Watts. I would see people like Ryan Coogler, who was also there volunteering. I would see Ryan Coogler on the red carpet. I started to talk to him, send him my art, like, hey, let's do some stuff. And then before you knew it, we were collaborating on Space Jam and other projects, and Judas and the Black Messiah, different things like that.
Did Malcolm Lee direct Space Jam too?
I believe so.
Oh, I think he did. Yes. Shout out to Malcolm.
He did. Yes.
Yeah. I couldn't remember if there was like a new Space Jam or if Space Jam 2 was the new Space Jam. Yes. Okay. Shout out to Malcolm.
Right. Space. Yeah.
Malcolm Lee, by the way, is Spike Lee's cousin, and he directed Best Man. Okay, there we go. Context.
There it is. Yeah, and so a lot of stuff just started to pop up like that while I had a full-time job as an architect. But on the side, I also had like a book deal and movie posters and, doing Black Panther movie poster, Space Jam, all this other stuff. So it started.
And Disney didn't hinder any of that?
They did not, and I was thankful for that. Because they could be a little, but
possessive.
At Imagineering, if it's more like a family. It's a little bit different, I feel like. And one thing that they did say, they always said like, make sure this is there's the social justice and the artivism side. I basically wanted to keep that as that separate thing. The Imagineering, the other thing. And so there would be moments where 2013, there was the hoodie movement. Trayvon Martin's killer was found not guilty. I made this piece right here, MLK, in a hoodie. And really it was speaking of Dr. King's dream of not...
Is that a paint? That's not a painting.
It's like I basically photoshopped this.
Okay, I was like...
Yeah.
Wait.
And so it was like, can we talk about like, why does this make Dr. King look like a thug or something like that? I was doing like artistic experiments, like, and ironically enough, started getting a lot of hate mail. Like, you're making Dr. King like a thug. I'm like, that's the point of the artwork. Like, does that make you feel like he's like Mark Zuckerberg's walk around with hoodies every day? Like, do you, if... And
now he got on gold chains.
And gold chain, right? And if Trayvon, wasn't wearing a hoodie, would he have looked more like friendly or something like? So I was just, all that stuff was happening. I made that art piece. Van Jones like retweeted it, and it went viral. And then I ended up on CNN the next day talking to Dr. King's niece about like who was a Republican and was arguing with me. True story. It's crazy. Alveda King. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel
It
like people be
crazy.
trying real hard to just like stand out. Like that really to me sounds like just a knee jerk reaction to like I'm gonna be the different one in my family. That's
Yeah,
what that sounds
I don't
like.
know what happened there, but yes. And so that was the weekend that Black Lives Matter movement began. And so that was a time where if you were an artist and you're an artist, you became an artivist. Like you had to make art. You can't just make I can't just make art about nothing. Like can't do it. So that started the whole. That was literally the weekend that I was going through the divorce. That was the weekend that I started the Sunday Sketch series, and it's now been like 11 plus years of making art that speaks to what this crazy world is going through. So like the Artivist became like that was the moment where it's like I'm going to combine all these 11 years of artivism into a picture book where I can talk about like, hey, we can talk about social justice, we can talk about environmental justice. The kid talks about like love is a verb, like love is giving and helping and donating, but love is also protesting. That is very important. Love is protecting the environment. So all of the literally like 10 plus years of artivism that I was making, it's all kind of put into the book. So he goes to a rally where this kid named Jay has been literally killed by the police, and so it's like heavy topics in some cases. You know, guns in schools. He creates a mural that says "Protect Trans Kids." All these different things that he's making art about. The whole point is like, let's make art to get people to stop and realize this is an issue, and how can we get people to jump on board? How can we get them to contact their district attorney, sign this petition? Like, I feel like that's the goal of Artivism. Like, can we get people to do something about this issue? And so for that, you know, for all of the issues that he took, especially like the trans kids protections and things like that, this book is banned in some states, Texas, Florida, wherever. My first big book after I left Disney right before the pandemic, and I got an email about this book, 619 Project, Born on the Water, also banned in many places. There's I have a book about the Confederate flag. You know, there's been this constant pushback against, you know, teaching our kids about what is important. Oh, teach the babies. Shout out
There you
Dr.
go.
David Johns. Yeah.
What's up? He was on here the other day.
Oh, what's up, David? Yeah. So, you know, that's how it's just been a constant, like, let me make art about these, what I call broken bones in the world, and see what happens. I feel like
Tell
I
me
feel like
more
it's
about
that thing.
the broken bones in the world.
Yeah. So
Where'd
I,
that thought?
you know, it was
That's a very
kind of like,
visual.
you know, how we see the world. Some people will say, like, especially in America, like things aren't broken. Like they're working the way that they were originally designed. But for somebody who is, you know, in a marginalized community who wants to see justice, like it's broken. Like there's things that are just not working right. Like there should not be, I feel like, this capitalistic society that is like, you know, cutting down all of the rainforest so that somebody can get a profit. And so in the Artivist, like he's in the rainforest, like stopping a bulldozer from chopping down all the trees. And there's literally like a little dollar sign embedded on the bulldozer. Like, and I talk to kids about like the connections, like follow the money, you know. These are all broken bones. Like there's you know, with the issues of you know, war, obviously, you know, global peace, global war, where I'm trying to either paint a picture of like, this is what it would look like if children in Palestine and Congo and Sudan were just able to have a joyful day and you know, be in peace. And this is like when bombs are dropped, and why are bombs dropping on little children? So just trying to call out every single broken bone that I can think of, everything that is not working right in the world. And can we like kind of mobilize an army of creatives, of artivists? I like you said, like there's a million different types of artivists out there. There's everybody can be an artist. I try to tell people, like I say, like at the beginning of my talks, like raise your hand if you're an artist, and try to tell people, well, okay, well, if your hand isn't raised, like you're creative, right? There's something creative that you do. So take that creative thing that you do, combine it with something to fix in the world, and you're an artist. Boom, like make art.
Do you find that in the current state of things, do you feel more inspired, or do you feel drained by how insane it all is?
Well, right now, it is absolutely draining. But it's a weird, like, kind of like back and forth with making artivism all the time. It's always connected to broken bones. It's always connected to the depressing, draining thing.
Yeah.
But for me, like
Who you telling?
if I'm, yeah, but if I'm at my table, like sketching something related to that thing, like it was impossibly hard for me to sketch something for Elijah McClain when he was killed by the police. But it was like once I started sketching that thing, like it helped. It kind of energizes me in a draining moment. So like it's just constantly, as we see, if you looked at anything that's happening right now, like there's every day there's something draining. There's something that's like makes you wanna smash something, and I'm like, I have to make some art about that. Like my Sunday sketch just this Sunday was about Mahmoud Khalil, and it's 2 Sundays ago it was Jersey Kebab. These this literally mom and pop shop where the mom and pop were detained and by ICE, and it's like
But the whole
stories,
community popped off and they
Yep.
were released.
Yeah.
The whole community like said, nah, where are we gonna get the food from?
I mean, yeah. So there's a million stories where it's like I have to try to sketch them out or try to commemorate these people, these lives in some sort of way, and it really helps me kind of move forward.
I feel like there's something so dope when you can put it in the work,
Yeah.
And like that's why I started doing my one woman show, What Would the Ancestors Say? Because it was like, it's fine to sit up here and talk, but I need to do it through some other art form, through characters, through through comedy, like through a stage
Yep.
space that is more than just like a podcast, sis. Which
Right,
I don't
right.
ever want to be. So we have people who have questions, and we're gonna go to some of these questions. Now, this is a classroom, so people have to ask their questions addressed to Mr. Smith because our class is respectful. All right. Shamika said, Mr. Smith, I have a 9-year-old niece and she is a creative. If things don't come out perfect, it deeply saddens her. I work to instill credence, that was our word of the day, credence in her to trust the process. Can you share a message for kids in this way about this?
Absolutely. Say, first of all, when I was 9 years old, I didn't have a ton of sketchbooks because I was always nervous and afraid that it wasn't going to come out perfect. And so for me, my style now it has developed into something, I call it sketchy, semi-abstract. It's not perfect. It's never perfect. I create sketches every week that I give myself like an hour, 2 hours in speed paint. And I just sketch the essence of what I want to make. Like it doesn't have to. I don't like clean lines. I'm not gonna spend an hour trying to make these fingers perfect. Even my canvas paintings, they're speed paintings. Take one day finish, and
Oh,
so
wow.
I feel like I just need to go quick and don't get bogged down by like perfection.
Yeah.
I think once you have the essence of if I can get it, like once I'm done with that 1 hour, 2 hours, I'm just like, all right, post it. People will understand. So it doesn't have to be perfect. That's my
But what do you tell the baby? How do you tell that to the babies though? You got
I
kids.
just so you're right. I have a 4-year-old, and that's actually his sketch right up there. Just be express. I say be expressive. Like just throw it on the canvas. Like I don't. I do also kind of like I'll do like a time thing where I'm like, all right, we have 30 minutes. Let's just make something. And
Ah.
it could be any. At the end of this 30 minutes, it's gonna be a superhero portrait of you. Like, what do you look like as a superhero? And I think that sometimes that time limit kind of takes off the, oh, I have to make this hand perfect,
Yes.
right? It doesn't have to be perfect. So yeah.
I love that though, because I feel like for kids, that changes the success. The success is that I did something in that time,
Yeah.
right? And so that removes
True.
the pressure of what is the thing that I did. It didn't matter what I did. I did it in
Absolutely.
time. You see?
I did it.
That was the goal.
Yeah.
I did it. I did
Yeah.
it. Next question. Lauren Monroe says, Mr. Smith, I'd love to hear about feedback from your work you've received that stuck with you.
Okay. Feedback that I've received. I feel like a lot of people. Well, I mean, there was one. Okay, so when the MLK thing happened, there was this maybe middle-aged white lady who emailed me and was like, you know what, I actually did see. I did look at black people that way when I would see them walking in with a hoodie. That actually helped me change my perspective on how I see people, how I see, black people. And it was things like that where I realized like, man, like one image, just an
One
image
image.
can change, like it can do a lot to people. And that's why I kind of felt like, all right, I'm just keep doing this one image every week and see what happens. So that was some really cool,
I feel like
kind
that's
of,
so, especially in the short attention span era that we're in,
yeah,
just hitting them with bam, Dr.
yeah,
Martin Luther
just,
the King in a hoodie.
yeah,
It,
there it
it, it
is.
rattles the cage. Next
Yeah.
question. Chantrell said, because I know that's how people say your name. Chantrell said, Mr. Smith, do you have any advice or guidance for young people who want to self-publish their art?
I would say in terms of like publishing books, do it. This is one of my self-published books. When I got to 5 years of making Sunday sketches, I was like, I'm just gonna put it all in a book.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna try to like shop it around to publishers. I'm just gonna put it in a book and see who wants to partake in this. And so I would say don't. I mean, I think it's totally cool to connect with publishers, see if there's an interest in, that might be an avenue, right? But also, if you can do it yourself, if you have the means to do it yourself, do it. Like, find a printer. You're gonna you might need to raise a little bit of funds, a little bit of coins to get make that investment. But I think it's worth it, to have a product. You decide how many books you want to print, and then get that website up and start pushing your books out.
So something my mom did back in the day. So like places like Snapfish, like photo sites. So if it's just that you want to publish something just for you to have, right? Just to be able to see it in like a published form. they have places that, you know, you can just kind of do like a one-off of something. Like my mom I feel like it's right within arm's reach, but I'm not sure. But like my mom made a book of my art, and it was for me just like, oh, my stuff is in a book. Like I hadn't seen that, you know? And then we would be when I tell you we ran that Kinko's, we would be at Kinko's because I had decided I want to make a coloring book. And so we was like, all right. My mom was like, all right, we gonna make a coloring book. And so I drew all the designs, and then we went to Kinko's, and you can bind, you know, something. So and printing, you know, on black and white is cheap. So we printed them out, and then I sold them at my gym. So sometimes it's not even like it needs to be such a big ordeal per se. Like sometimes it's just giving a kid the visual of like, this is what this is to exist. Because self-publishing can be expensive. Right. I mean, they do have a lot more places now where you can self-publish. Like Author House was where I self-published like my first poetry book. But it is a little pricey also because they're minimums. It's like you have to order 100, and it's like, you know, it's a lot. But I like that you're even thinking that way. All right. Another question. Last question. Olivia Stevens says, Mr. Smith, when it comes to artivism, which art form you think has the most impact? Also, how do you feel about BLM murals being painted over and washed away? There you go.
Whew, man. Which art form has the most impact? Wow. Okay, so I feel like music is one of the most powerful art forms that sticks with you. I tell young students, like, and so in the back of the Artivist, you have like all the different types of artivists there. So it's like, oh, you know, you can make music, you can make films. Films are super powerful. You can write poetry. It's not that you just have to draw if you want to be an artist, you know, like, so, I mean, I feel like music is one of the most long-lasting, you know, impactful things that there is. But obviously for me, the visual paint on canvas or digital paint on canvas, that visual impact is for me that thing that I feel like it can really stick with you especially if it's like a deep message. It can just get people to stop, and people will remember that art piece for the rest of their life. Just like they'll remember a song. I don't know if there's like really one type of art form. BLM murals being painted over. This is America. This is where we are. I don't know what to say. Like, I feel like black people right now, a lot of black people are just like, yeah, well, like what I don't even. It's like, are we gonna go march in the streets about this? No, I don't think we're gonna march about it.
Well, we marched in the street, and that's what they gave us.
And I was gone. So,
and no one asked for that. We marched in the street, and they were like, "Oh, fine. Here's a painting."
Here's a painting.
And it's like,
here.
We don't need you to write it on the street. We need to write it in the law. That's what you need you to do. We need you to write Black Lives Matter in the law, not on the street.
Exactly.
And I just love that, like, they wrote it all in the concrete. They had, you know how much it cost to dig up the Black Lives Matter square in DC?
They were jackhammering.
Jackhammering.
I thought it was a paint job.
Me too.
They were like taking it out, like destroying the soul of DEI. I don't know.
Literally, I feel like y'all could have painted over. Y'all could have done you know when people get tattoos over their girl's name, it's like y'all could have just done a big lion over it or something. Nope, they said get it out the ground.
Get it out.
Uproot.
Get it out.
Well, people are asking, like, where do you buy your books? Why do y'all ask that? Where books are sold. But you know what? There are preferred places. But there are preferred places. So, like, I know for me, I try and tell people to buy from independent bookstores, black-owned bookstores. Is this new? No, that's not new.
This is May 2025. This is coming out, and it's not out yet. The History of We. It's my first hand-painted canvas book. So, I'm very excited about this. It goes back to the humanity 233,000 years. This is what I call educational justice, because all of this information was not in the textbooks growing up. So very excited about that. And so if you go to my website, like
Wait.
Yes. Yes.
So are you doing this research?
Yes.
So tell me about that, because what we're flying over here is that you're writing the books as well, and that these books are often relating to actual research that is then, compiled into a palatable way for young people to receive. So what inspired this, and how was the research process?
So the inspiration, if you saw Ava DuVernay's film Origin, I had made some artwork about for a Ben and Jerry's campaign. This little black boy who couldn't swim with his baseball teammates. I wish I could tell every black kid like that, did you know that like the first swimmers ever look like you? Like there is nothing that you can't do. Like the first artists, the first medical doctors, and I'm talking about 70, 80, 90,000 years ago in Africa. They were literally like creating, medicinal paste from plants. They were making paint from ochre and water. All these different types of things.
They were doing cesareans.
They were doing, like literally, this is like, they were braiding, they were making all types of architecture. And this is all in Africa. And so I had to do a lot of research on paleontology from the middle Paleolithic era, going back 200,000 years, looking at the out of Africa theory, which is, it's not really a theory. It's like the prevailing, like this is scientific fact. Like they dig up fossils and they're like, oh, modern humans 200,000 years ago were as intelligent as us. They spoke sentences, they laughed, they cried, they were us. And so everybody on the planet can be traced back to this woman.
Lucy.
Everybody. Yeah. And so like she was the first modern human. And so like it's due to like a few traveling tribes out of Africa that the world was populated. So I always wanted to make a book like this. And if you go to my website, you'll see a link to it, but it's, pre-order wherever books are sold. It's with Penguin, who also did the 1619 Project, Born on the Water, and the Artivist. So
was it a
there's
hard
books
sell?
like that. It took a little like, hey, let's talk about like what is your thought process on this? But I think once the theme was presented, it was like, yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
So there's that, and then also Change Is Gonna comes out later this year in September, and that's literally Sam Cooke. A Change Is Gonna Come. I was born by the river.
When does the album drop?
It's 60 years. It came 60 years ago. 60 years ago, Change Is Gonna Come came out. So
60?
It's literally 60 years ago. So it's literally the lyrics of the song, and I'm just painting the story that I've created. So yeah, check me out on Nikkolas.art, Nikkolas Smith socials. It's with 2 Ks, so because my mama wanted to make it special, so 2 Ks. Yeah, so
Thank you so much.
wherever you can find me on social media, on the internet, all those things.
All those things, and you still do your Sunday drawings.
I do. And also I wanted to say, shout out to They Clone Tyrone. I was the first concept artist on They Clone Tyrone. I know some of y'all might be going to see it tomorrow.
Yes.
So, yeah.
What? I mean,
yeah.
In the midst of all of that, I mean, do you still do the film stuff? Like, is that still something that's in the mix that you enjoy?
Yeah, I still work with Ryan Coogler a lot. The next project is Sinners, coming out April 18th. That was my latest concept art project. Nice little vampire flick. That Ryan Coogler, it's not just a vampire. Ryan Coogler's a genius, and this movie is crazy, phenomenal. It's a horror film, but it's like it's a lot of things. It's beautiful. Go see it. It's amazing.
I mean, I don't know what to take from it, but I do know that Michael B is giving in the photo, y'all. He's giving.
It's two Michael B's. He's twins in the movie, so it's two Michael B's. So take with that what you will.
Take with that what you will. There's two of these. All right. So good job. Well, thank you so much, Nikkolas. Thank you for making time to talk with us.
Thank you,
You know, my
Amanda.
audience, they are people who are always looking for inspiration and for a grounding. And I think in these days and times, it's imperative that we as community continue to show up in these ways. So thank you for making time between movies, books, Sunday drawings, being a husband and a parent and a black man in America to do this with us. We appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me.
No doubt. Y'all, that was fabulous. Look at that. I hope everybody enjoyed that. I really am so glad. I met Mr. Smith. I met Nikkolas at a speaking engagement. We were in Maryland. It was, I think, at University of Maryland. It was him, me, the singer's name eludes me, but he was fabulous in what he was talking about. And Keisha Knight Pulliam, aka Rudy Huxtable. And we were it was moderated by Laura Coates. And it was just really great to meet him and now to continue to be able to be in community. And that inspired me. I have a poem that I did called Black Girl Magic. And I did it on the social media awards. And I know that there's like a lot of Black Girl Magic books. But I feel like I want to do an illustrated book that goes along with that poem. Or I feel like I want to do at least more stuff like that, where I take like stuff that I've written and do like an illustrated book, like how he talked about the one with Sam Cooke. So something I'm going to think about. I love how I like to give myself more jobs. We already talked earlier about all the jobs I got. So there's that. So thank you to Nikkolas Smith for joining us. I definitely thought I had a guest for 60-second headlines, and I don't, but that doesn't mean we're not going to get into 60-second headlines. So let's do it. AmandaLand. 60-second headlines. And I run down some news right quick.
Run it down, mama. Put us on.
So our 60-second headlines today are a bit, I won't say like all over the place, but there's definitely a lot of things to discuss. And between literally last night and today, there are just a lot of things to discuss, but I can't talk about everything. And I think the real important thing is that what I want to do with this show, as always, I always make this clear, is give you all some context for the news. It's not necessarily just reporting the news. It's not necessarily just telling, okay, this happened, now this happened, now this happened. It's really about really looking at what is happening, why it's happening, and how that affects the past, present, and future, right? So today, let's start with talking about Jasmine Crockett, who says that Jeffries, Hakeem Jeffries, scolded the Dems when they were at the quote unquote, well, it's like the fake State of the Union, but let's hear what she had to say.
The fact that a number of us were pulled into an office.
Right.
And
Not saying whose office it was.
no, but if you Google, you'll find the article.
Yeah.
And saying like that we were, and I'm like, I need the freedom.
What was the message? You were too much off the leash? Is that what the message was?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
With the State of the Union.
Right.
But nobody remembers anything from the State of the Union but Al Green. So I'm like.
Right.
So normally, of course, I would have a third party here for 60-second headlines on Wednesdays, but I want to hear your thoughts. What are your responses to this? How do you feel in seeing Representative Jasmine Crockett when she's speaking about this? What is your initial reactions? So Andrew Johnson says that centrist Hakeem foolishness. I want to hear more. I want to hear more. I want to hear more. Now, when I was watching this, I said, okay, obviously Hakeem Jeffries did this because this is what he's about. Like, he doesn't want to disrupt his donors. That's what that's really about. And he was absolutely selected by Pelosi to toe the line. I want to ask you, though, as always, to think further. Think further. The low-hanging fruit is always going to be what they're telling you. That's a low-hanging fruit, responding to just what they're telling you. I want y'all to think further about how we get to this point, okay? I want you to think further about the people that she's referring to. So Rena says, my reaction is none of the Dems showed spine, joined Al Green, or supported him. So this was my initial reaction, Rena. I'm like, okay, this may be true, but nobody did anything. And I feel like first of all, I'm confused by what he's even saying because I don't know how more on the leash they could have been. But I also feel like they are talking about this now, but I don't know why there wasn't more support for Al Green in the moment. Illstore 8500 says, first no one stood up behind Ripper Al Green and then Schumer folded. Yep. Nia says, Hakeem Jeffries' position isn't even his. It's supposed to have been Charles Barron, who ran against him twice. Patrice says, they got up and turned their backs at one point. It just wasn't shown. Ooh. Patricia says, her mentioning Al Green, but yet no one stood up for them. Okay, so here we go. Stacia says, we love Jasmine. Doesn't surprise me. The Zateo interview that happened with Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman showed that Dems are really just people pleasers with a leash for the rest of the party. Interesting. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it. I'm going to check it out over the course of the next week. Actually, no, I'm not, because I'm going on vacation. I'm not going on vacation. I'm going on workation to work on my book, but I'm going to completely unplug. And when I come back, y'all are going to have to tell me what I missed. Numalin Namdog says, wait, are they trying to come up with justification for their non-activity? So I think that there's something really interesting that we're witnessing here, right? So there definitely is a break in the Democratic Party, and we saw this previously with the progressives becoming the squad. And now we're seeing this with AOC and also with Jasmine, who are the younger faces of the party, stepping out and speaking against their older folks and saying, like, we really need to step up. AOC did this about Schumer. Now you have Jasmine doing this about Jeffries. And I think that there is something here that could be one of two things. Either they're genuinely saying, like, we're breaking from the core, or they're being instructed and saying, like, okay, we need to wrangle the Democratic Party into a more the People's Party type of thing. I personally do believe, though, that all of this is still performative. Michelle Michael Watson says, judging by the clip, it seems like she's self-censoring in her statement, and Hakeem Jeffries wants them to do absolutely nothing at all if the Dems' actions were considered out of pocket. I guess what I'm trying to understand is this type of interview, is this Jasmine as Jasmine for us, or is this Representative Jasmine Crockett? And like I said, she didn't respond to my text, so I'm not going to hit her directly anymore. But Renee said, I thought one by one they would all take action like Al Green. That would have been something, right? Because that's what happens when you're seeing people in these spaces that are standing up against the people on stage. Typically, it'll be one person, and then they take that person out, and then someone else, and then someone else, and someone else, and like that's how it goes. So, AOC is touring with Bernie, but we also just saw Bernie be incredibly nasty to Olivia DeNucci, who is a definite mainstay out there. She's the one who organized the people sitting outside Blinken's house. She is a face that these politicians know is somebody who stands against tyranny. So I don't know why he was coming at her sideways when she was asking him about his thoughts on Mahmoud Khalil. Sweatshirt Shorty said, the Dems are boneless. They've been getting steamrolled for years under the guise of professionalism. Yes, we know that. We definitely know that. Sarah says they want them choking from the collars attached to the lease. Andrew says there were other Dems who walked out later on, but the cameras didn't show them, but they all should have walked out after Al Green. So yes, I know Jasmine was one of the Dems that did walk out later on, but see, Lynn said she's in lawyer mode. Fair, because lawyers are always thinking legislatively, and they are definitely thinking like, I can say this, I can't say this, I can say that, I can't say that. Okay, so Nia thinks that they are being instructed. Case in point, it's case in point, I think. Or is it case and point? Have I been saying the wrong thing the whole time? Someone correct me or affirm me. My congressperson last night said Schumer told Dems he wouldn't vote for the CR, but a day later, he did. How is that a case in point that they're being instructed? Let me know. I agree, Miss Latia. I don't see how she stays a Democrat and still be her. But I think this is when you have to find out like who people are. We don't know who she is. I don't know. Later, she said, if what we... Rachel said, funny enough, Sabby Sab had a video talking about a black Republican gunning for her seat in the next election. She also exposes how Jasmine have changed as soon as she got her new position. I'll take a look at that. Listen, I had told Jasmine, you know, you're going to have to decide what you really want to be about, because this is a place where they change people and the Democrats are two wings of the same bird. And she was like, I've never heard that before. Someone said that to me the other day. And I was like, I don't know how you're not understanding this. Like, you're coming in here with your own set of ideals and values, but that is not what this place is made of. It is not made of your ideals and values. And if you're coming in here wanting to be if you're coming in here wanting to be a career politician, then that's going to be a different mindset that you're going to have to step into. And ultimately, I don't believe in career politicians. I think that they are absolutely a huge problem with how we have gotten to where we are today. And I would love to see there be people like, I appreciated Hill Harper when he was running for Senate saying, I want to come in here and I just want to do a term and be out, but I really want to come in here and do something. He's an actor. He don't need the money. Like, he's doing something else. Althea said she's not radical enough for me. Andrew said centrist Chuck did this. Okay, we're talking about that right now. Iron Camellia said jury's out on Jasmine. And V said, I'm surprised that it seemed Jasmine was holding back, especially because she usually doesn't mince her words. Well, I don't know. I think at the end of the day, okay, here we go. Nia clarifies. Well, I think the Dems are being instructed on lies to tell the public to make it seem like they're fighting, so they come out with statements after the fact. I agree. Dang. I agree. I think that it's all performance. I think it's all performance. I think that it is, as somebody who comes from theater, I think it's political theater. And I just don't believe that this dissension is as real as they're trying to make it, because they keep showing up in spaces that are very controlled and that are all multimedia, mainstream media, centrist media spaces. Like, I feel like if Jasmine was really trying to break from the Dems, or really trying to like do something really kind of like shaking up the Dems, I don't know that would happen by showing up on only like centrist news places, right? And I think that there's a very necessary radical shift that would have to happen to make me believe that they are actually about what they say they're about, because they've been too dishonest for too long. So that's what I wanted to get your thoughts on it. And Sweatshirt Shawty said, I just keep trying to figure out why. Is it because they scary? Is it because they don't want to lose capital? Like what is the reason to keep folding like this? Well, remember, these are people that are funded by the same people that are funded by the Republicans, right? There's a number of lobbies that fund them on a bipartisan level. There's also just the reality that they want to be career politicians and they need donors. We live in a nation that money runs politics. So they want to be in power. I think in the best case scenario, there's this idea that, you know, if I'm here and I'm doing the job of politics, it's better than someone else doing the job, and I will actually have some level of care more than people who don't give a damn. And I think that there's something noble in that, but I don't think it's really real. Now, as far as AIPAC, you know, I was watching a video the other day that I have to post on my Patreon that talks about how AIPAC is just one of like many several very deeply ingrained Israel lobby groups that we need to be addressing. And that ultimately AIPAC's brand has been so dismantled that the folks aren't even putting the money in there anymore. They're putting it in other places. So we'll talk about that when I come back. But I do believe ultimately that regardless of whether you like certain people, whether you like Jasmine, whether you like AOC, etc., there always has to be a conscious, tenuousness about how you relate to what they're saying, because they are within a system that is built on lies. It's just what it is. There's nothing to like really argue about that. And because it's built on lies, we know that that means that lies are always a possibility. And when you know that lies are always a possibility, you need to always consider that that's what's being done. So there's that. All right. Next story. Venezuelan president ain't hitting it. So the Venezuelan president made a video talking about what we talked about yesterday, which was the incredibly dehumanizing way that the Venezuelan deportees were taken to this notorious prison in El Salvador, and the fact that no one had due process, no one was given any level of even ability to challenge the I don't know why I can't talk, to challenge the accusations that were given to them. People were saying, well, they had tattoos. It's like, okay, so the tramp stamp that I got when I was 18 is how I'm being judged at 43? No, I need to be able to have a time in front of a judge to say, that was where I was, this is where I am now, and here is the proof. Okay? Here is the proof. And now you have people coming out saying, well, this person that you deported is actually the coach of this kid's soccer team. This person that you deported is actually waiting on they had an asylum appointment the next week, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, transplant persecution is real. So I think it's wild that they produced this video that I agree 100% CO Voice of the People was a snuff video. And they had all of this theatrics and drones, et cetera. And then the Venezuelan president came out and he said this. And of course, as you know, I will always play folks speaking in their actual language. And then I will speak about what they actually said.
A los migrantes venezolanos como delincuentes, terroristas y asesinos es el acto de mayor enemistad, de mayor injusticia que jamás se haya cometido desde los Estados Unidos de Norteamérica contra un pueblo de América Latina y del Caribe. Es la mayor agresión que ha recibido país alguno en América Latina y el Caribe. Y es una agresión a todo el pueblo de Venezuela. Porque nuestros migrantes no son terroristas, no son delincuentes, no son asesinos. Nuestros migrantes son gente de bien, noble, trabajadora, productiva. No puede ser que una persona, por ser venezolano, sea capturado, secuestrado, sin derecho a la defensa, sin derecho al debido proceso, sin condena, sea metido en un campo de concentración en Estados Unidos y sea enviado a campos de concentración nazi en El Salvador. Yo le pregunto al presidente Nayib Bukele, públicamente, presidente, ¿usted va a amparar esta crueldad, esta injusticia, sin derecho a ningún proceso, de crear campos de concentración y meter a nobles migrantes, trabajadores, gente de bien, en cárceles, sin juicio, sin haber cometido delitos en El Salvador, sin ningún tipo de pena emitida por un tribunal del Salvador. ¿Es esto legal? ¿Es justo? ¿Es humano, Nayib Bukele? ¿Es humano hacerle esto a un ser humano solo porque es migrante venezolano?
So, this is the Venezuelan president, and he is basically saying that what he witnessed is absolutely unacceptable in terms of these migrant workers being considered terrorists, murderers, all the above, and they are being shaved. They're having their hair shaven. He's saying it's a great injustice. Now, Maduro has never been somebody who minces his words, and here he is talking about how this is a really serious aggression against the Latin American and Caribbean people, so much so that he's saying like this is like the biggest aggression that's ever happened. And he said, you know, our migrants, they are not terrorists, they're not criminals, etc. And he goes on to say that it's wild that they're being taken to a concentration camp in El Salvador. And people in the chat, I see you all asking, like, is it a concentration camp? Ultimately, when you are imprisoning people that have not been given due process, that have been kidnapped, that absolutely have the right to defense, and you put them to work in a camp, that is a concentration camp, period. They don't have any freedom to exit. They don't have a right to a lawyer. And they're not even in a country where they did the crime. And he's asking the president of El Salvador, Bukele, like, you're supporting this cruelty? For the record, yes. I know that he was saying that rhetorically, but it's like, well, yes, obviously. He made a whole video about it. It looked like it was, you know, it looked like an actual, like, Michael Bay film. But he goes on to say, my people, the Venezuelan people that they put out here, they're good people. Why are they in El Salvador? They haven't even had a sentence issued by an El Salvadoran court. So, you know, where we're looking at this, we have to have a really strong mind frame, because what we're seeing is that now you are getting folks choosing sides. El Salvador has essentially chosen that this is Venezuela. I mean, chosen that they're going to side with America. They're going to side with the United States. Venezuela is saying, is this how you riding? I feel like he's saying that just to see, like, is this really like what we're doing? Because they're going to have to do something. I mean, you can't come out here and do all of this talking and not do something. I don't know why he ain't on a plane. See, that's what I'm saying. I just feel like this is a lot of conjecture, and we keep doing this thing like this is illegal. These people are not caring about things being illegal. So I don't know why it seems like being a good leader or being on the right side of things is being quote unquote legal in the face of criminalization and illegality. This is what messes me. This is what makes me so frustrated. It's like this respectability idea that if we need to uphold doing things legal in order to challenge these people. And it's like, no, they are illegally doing things. So it is legal to respond to that. Hello. And yes, Sweatshirt Shorty once again makes it onto the screen. Legality is not a measure of ethics or virtue. So if we're talking about legality and respectability politics, the president of the United States has 34 convictions. I don't know what we're even talking about. So all of this yip yapping is really frustrating for me. That man should have been doing this speech from the tarmac in front of the prison. That's what I believe. I want these leaders to actually do something and physically be somewhere that says we stand for our people. And I don't see that. Have you seen any other politicians at rallies anymore? Are they walking, marching anywhere anymore? They was out there for the first week in their coats, because I can't get away from the images of them in these long coats. But I don't know, maybe tell me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen them out anywhere. That's just me. I haven't seen them out anywhere. There should be a continual, and if you're not going to be physically out there, there should be a continual press tour. Continual. But again, that would annoy me too. So actually, I take that back. but I haven't seen them anywhere, right? Like I just don't know what their job is at this point. They were out there because that was what it was. They were in session. And so now that they're home, are they a part of any of that at home? I don't know. Maybe they're doing stuff on the low ski, but I feel like their positions are positions where doing stuff in the shadows ain't it. Like you need to be a face outside. Okay, so Mark Kelly and Ruben Gallegos had a great rally in Arizona. You should check it out. Thank you for sharing that with us. I appreciate you. Thank you. So that's 2 people in Arizona. And what was the rally about? Was the rally about Doge? Let's see. Mark Kelly and Ruben Gallegos rally. Mark, because I have a feeling it wasn't about anything else. It was more just about your money. Mark Gallegos and Ruben, Mark Kelly and Ruben Gallegos. Mark Kelly and Ruben Gallego rally. Let's see. The rally was about make them fear voters more than Trump. Kelly Gallego rally against GOP Medicaid cuts. So again, this is a very, very specific thing, and it's a very safe thing. Arizona is a border state. There are incredible amounts, okay? Incredible amounts of absolutely ridiculous deportations happening in Arizona. And Luck Dragon says it was a town hall about everything. However, other people are countering, saying they had no strategies, none at all. Y'all with the Collier representatives, I don't know what that, I consider that to be a pointless effort at this point. Okay, Senator Warren held a town hall in Massachusetts. I need to do a little more research over it, but I do know it was held this week. I'm not talking about town halls. I'm not talking about rallies and town halls. Are you out there with the people? Rallies and town halls, you want a stage. You want a stage. That's not what I'm talking about. Town halls are necessary, but they are not what I'm talking about. Are you with the people? So when I went to, I'm not a politician, but when I went to the Bloody Sunday commemoration last year, and I was asked, do you want to walk over the bridge VIP? I was like, no, I'm going to be over here with the people. And I was standing in the midst of the people when I was summoned by Kamala Harris. But that is where I was. And that's where I will always be. Y'all always see me when I'm out, I'm with the people. I mean, I may have a security person with me, but we with the people. And that to me is what matters. I believe that these people were posturing. Mark Jones and Ruben Gallego, they're in the middle of the road. I mean, that's just kind of what it is. And they absolutely are not marching with the people. And whenever you all talk about, Amanda, you should be in politics, I'm always like, when have you seen politicians with the people? When? I spent last night breaking down Jamie Raskin's video that he did with the Democracy Docket, where he was talking about how it was titled Jamie Raskin gives tips on how to challenge Doge. But I want you to know that, yes, he's talking in the video, but he's not educating. And this is what I said on Amon's show. They don't educate. And if you're not educating your constituency, then I don't believe that you're actually for your constituency, when particularly now we know that there is an egregious effort by your opposition to not educate your constituency. Like, they don't want to educate anybody. So shout out to everybody who is making it their business to educate. Like Nikkolas Smith right here was on talking about his books. These are books that are made to educate. Our jobs should be, 1, to be upstanders, not bystanders. 2, to educate. And I will talk about in the PSA what our third job is. And Ruben and Mark are both Zionists. So, you know, Miss me with that. But I hope that the Venezuelan President Maduro, I hope that he does a show of action that backs up his passionate words here, and his people really, really need that. And Paloma says that shout out to LA City Controller Kenneth Mejia, who is educating the people. I'm going to look into that. Shout out to that. All right, last but not least, y'all. Oh my goodness. Y'all, the astronauts done came back.
Re-enters the Earth's atmosphere. All of that is expected. Altitude plane. And there you see it on your screen. Drogue deployment.
Drogue descent rate nominal.
You can hear the crowd here.
And Pacific time this afternoon. And there we go.
We have visual on 4 healthy mains.
That view was from inside.
Freedom copy.
That
Copy,
was
600.
That was a live view from our recovery vessel off the coast of Tallahassee, Florida.
And splashdown. Crew 9 back on Earth.
Yeah. Y'all, the astronauts done made it big. That was wild. The astronauts made it back. Now, let me give you some background on this whole situation with these astronauts, okay? Because I don't think that people really know this whole thing. So Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams, they returned to Earth in the SpaceX capsule on Tuesday. First of all, let me point out that she's Indian. And one of the things that annoys me about so many sci-fi movies and so many movies that are about like the United States going into outer space is they never have Indian people in the mix. And I'm like, so you're telling me that a people who are very deeply rooted in math and science, they not going to be in the mix of it when we going out there? You telling me that the Indian folks is not going to be at the control panels? I find that to be incredibly unrealistic. You telling me that they not going to be all up in the mix with the mathematical equations and whatnot? How that add up? There's never any South Asian people, and it never makes sense to me, and it's always very irritating. And I hope that from this point forward, we are going to see more representation that is more realistic, because the Indians is going to be there. Okay. Same with black women. You telling me that the black women ain't going to be there? We was the Hidden Figures. So there's that. So they splashed down off Florida's coast. Y'all, they went up there for 8 days and came back 8 months later. And they actually said that they had a fine time. I mean, not that they're going to talk down, because NASA would be like, get over here. But something that's very interesting is that the reason why they were stuck there was because their Boeing Starliner craft upended. The fact that we still get on Boeing planes scares so much out of me. Scares so much. Nonetheless, their return capsule was a space mission that was fraught with uncertainty, technical troubles, and NASA's pretty much solid on the contingency things, but they wasn't with it this time. NASA missed the mark. So they did an interview before they came back, and they were like very clearly insinuating that Joe Biden could have got them back earlier, but that he didn't want Elon to be the one to bring them back. And so that's why they had to stay. And then they went on to really praise Donald Trump. Like, he's so great. Thank you so much for bringing us home, et cetera, et cetera. Then I saw a video of the governor of Illinois talking about how during COVID, Trump said, if you want life-saving technology from us, the government, then you gonna have to talk about me in a positive way on the internets and on television and on Sunday, the Sunday shows. That's what he said. And I found that insane. Okay? Insane. But that to me sounded like what I saw the astronauts doing. It sounded like they was like, listen, we'll bring you home, but you got to big me up. You got to really big me up. And they was like, oh my God, fine. He's the best. He's the best. He's the best. He's the best. Yes. That's what I think was happening there. Welcome home. Really glad they're here. That was, as somebody who is obsessed with the movie The Martian and have seen it 11 times and who literally cries every time as if I don't know what's going to happen, this felt really scarily close to home. Very scarily close to home. All right. Well, when we get back, we got our critical thinking exercise, which is all about Palestine and Mahmoud Khalil. And it's where you're going to find out your homework for while I am gone. Okay? So first off, though, we are going to play a little clip from this week's Small Doses podcast. The only thing that gets immediate change is violence when you're dealing with violent people. I mean, that's just the facts. I mean, that's not even me trying to incite violence. It's literally just the facts. But the problem with violence is that people get harmed.
Yes. And I would say that it's really a time to drop some of the American exceptionalism where many other places around the world, whether it's Haiti or Bangladesh or Iraq, have shown us what revolution and resistance looks like. And I really think it's a time for America to be learning from other places outside of America of how this is done.
Mona, Americans are lazy.
I know. God bless you. But again, you know, I really do believe that the reason why I don't actually believe that Americans are lazy, I just think, I think Americans have fewer minutes in the day because they're so overworked by capitalism to look at other things. Also, the educational system has been deliberately hollowed out.
Yeah, we're intellectually lazy.
Also.
That's what I mean. We're intellectually lazy. That's what I mean. We're intellectually lazy. You can check out Small Doses Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We had the great Mona Shalabi joining us for 2 parts of side effects of journalism. Side effects of data as revolution. Really incredible conversation that if you haven't checked out, you should. And, you know, so when I was talking in that conversation about the reality around Americans and protesting, you know, I meant that. I meant what I was saying. And I want us to get into a bigger conversation around protesting and around a certain particular protesting that has been very consistent. So let's get into our critical thinking exercise of the week. Put on your thinking caps. AmandaLand. Let's get it. All right. This week's critical thinking lesson exercise is around why Palestine. Okay? Why Palestine? Now, when we look at what's been going on with Palestine over the past several decades and what has been going on with Palestine since October 7th, we see that there has been a heightened level of protest. This is quite obvious, and it is global.
Descendants from Holocaust survivors, we were taught never again. My grandparents were German Jews, and it's happening right now with the U.S. funding it. And I am going to fight every day until Palestine is free.
After Israel shattered the truth, killing over 400 people, including women and children, New Yorkers are out in full force to demand an end to the violence. No more Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free.
want to stop the bombing by the United States all over the world. We kill all over the world. We cause death and destruction all over the world as we are in Gaza today.
Americans need to know that bombing is a war crime. You to know that I listened to our U.S. representative in the Security Council today, and all I heard were lies. She's lying about Hamas and how this war started.
If you bomb sleeping children as they did last night, you are a Nazi. My view is that the IDF has become a Nazi organization. They kill like Nazis. They don't care if it's a child. They don't care if it's a mother. They don't care if it's a grandmother.
Okay, so we just saw videos of protests all over the nation. We also saw protests in France, in Stockholm, in Italy, and lastly, we saw protests in Jerusalem. Okay, so you seeing Israeli people being attacked by Israeli police officers. Now, today, Benjamin Netanyahu has come forward to say that the ceasefire is done definitively, that there will be no further efforts to negotiate. He said he will be negotiating with firepower. They are going to make a final attempt at this point to really eradicate the people of Gaza. So, with so much going on in the United States, and everybody is being touched in some way, whether it's about Doge, Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare on the hit, on the fritz, whether it's about ICE and immigration. Now you're seeing that the DEI of it all is going down. They literally just took down the page that Jackie Robinson, a page on the website that says that Jackie Robinson was a part of the military. So we all see that the tentacles are stretching out to everybody. However, Palestine continues to remain a driving force for people's energy as it relates to resistance. Then Mahmoud Khalil, a Columbia University student, here originally on a visa, but now as a permanent resident with a green card, who is married to an American citizen who was 8 months pregnant, was abducted from his home and disappeared to Louisiana, where he is awaiting his fate. He wrote a letter, and I'm going to read you the letter that he wrote from ICE detention. My name is Mahmoud Khalil. This letter was written March 18th. My name is Mahmoud Khalil, and I am a political prisoner. I am writing to you from a detention facility in Louisiana where I wake to cold mornings and spend long days bearing witness to the quiet injustices underway against a great many people precluded from the protections of the law. Write down any words in this that you don't know. Who has the right to have rights? It is certainly not the humans crowded in the cells here. It isn't the Senegalese man I met who has been deprived of his liberty for a year, his legal situation in limbo and his family an ocean away. It isn't the 21-year-old detainee I met who stepped foot in this country at age 9, only to be deported without so much as a hearing. Justice escapes the contours of this nation's immigration facilities. On March 8th, I was taken by DHS agents who refused to provide a warrant and accosted my wife and me as we returned from dinner. By now, the footage of that night has been made public. Before I knew what was happening, agents handcuffed and forced me into an unparked car. At that moment, my only concern was for Noor's safety. I had no idea if she would be taken too, since the agents had threatened to arrest her for not leaving my side. DHS would not tell me anything for hours. I did not know the cause of my arrest or if I was facing immediate deportation. At 26 Federal Plaza, I slept on the cold floor. In the early morning hours, agents transported me to another facility in Elizabeth, New Jersey. There, I slept on the ground and was refused a blanket despite my request. My arrest was a direct consequence of exercising my right to free speech as I advocated for a free Palestine and an end to the genocide in Gaza, which resumed in full force Monday night. With January's ceasefire now broken, parents in Gaza are once again cradling too small shrouds, and families are forced to weigh starvation and displacement against bombs. It is our moral imperative to persist in the struggle for their complete freedom. I was born in a Palestinian refugee camp in Syria to a family which has been displaced from their land since the 1948 Nakba. I spent my youth in proximity to yet distant from my homeland. But being Palestinian is an experience that transcends borders. I see in my circumstances similarities to Israel's use of administration detention, imprisonment without trial or charge, to strip Palestinians of their rights. I think of our friend Omar Khatib, who was incarcerated without charge or trial by Israel as he returned home from travel. I think of Gaza hospital director and pediatrician Dr. Hussam Abu Safiya, who was taken captive by the Israeli military on December 27th and remains in an Israeli torture camp today. For Palestinians, imprisonment without due process is commonplace. I have always believed that my duty is not only to liberate myself from the oppressor, but also to liberate my oppressors from their hatred and fear. My unjust detention is indicative of the anti-Palestinian racism that both the Biden and Trump administrations have demonstrated over the past 16 months, as the U.S. has continued to supply Israel with weapons to kill Palestinians and prevented international intervention. For decades, anti-Palestinian racism has driven efforts to expand U.S. laws and practices that are used to violently repress Palestinians, Arab Americans, and other communities. That is precisely why I am being targeted. While I await legal decisions that hold the futures of my wife and child in the balance, those who enabled my targeting remain comfortably at Columbia University. Presidents Shafiq Armstrong and Dean Yarmimilo laid the groundwork for the U.S. government to target me by arbitrarily disciplining pro-Palestinian students and allowing viral doxing campaigns based on racism and disinformation to go unchecked. Columbia targeted me for my activism, creating a new authoritarian disciplinary office to bypass due process and silence students criticizing Israel. Columbia surrendered to federal pressure by disclosing students' records to Congress and yielding to the Trump administration's latest threats. My arrest, the expulsion or suspension of at least 22 Columbia students, some stripped of their BA degrees just weeks before graduation, and the expulsion of SWC President Grant Minor on the eve of contract negotiations are clear examples. If anything, my detention is a testament to the strength of the student movement in shifting public opinion toward Palestinian liberation. Students have long been at the forefront of change, leading the charge against the Vietnam War, standing on the front lines of the civil rights movement, standing on the front lines and driving the struggle against apartheid in South Africa. Today, too, even if the public has yet to fully grasp it, it is students who steer us toward truth and justice. The Trump administration is targeting me as part of a broader strategy to suppress dissent. Visa holders, green card carriers, and citizens alike will all be targeted for their political beliefs. In the weeks ahead, students, advocates, and elected officials must unite to defend the right to protest for Palestine. At stake are not just our voices, but the fundamental civil liberties of all. Knowing fully that this moment transcends my individual circumstances, I hope nonetheless to be free to witness the birth of my firstborn child. So I ask you all, why Palestine? And that is your assignment while I am gone. I want you each to find, and here's the thing. I know that some people say, because it's the convergence, and I understand that. But what I want you to do is I want you to pinpoint specific things that Palestine brings attention to and expound upon that. So if it's about money, then I want you to talk about or write about how money, as it relates to Palestine, makes Palestine a centerpiece focus for protest. As we watched the protest videos, I took notes on the different things that people were referencing. Cultural responsibility. We saw Jewish people that are in Israel. We saw Jewish people that are descendants of Jewish folks that were a part of the Holocaust in Nazi Germany. We also saw veterans for peace. Cultural responsibility. Criminality was also mentioned. This is against the law. What they're doing are war crimes. We also saw the concept of, in Mahmoud's letter, immigration mentioned as a tool. We also, in Mahmoud's letter, saw the use of anti-Arab sentiments, anti-Muslim sentiments used as a tool. So what my challenge to you is to either make a 3 minutes or less video and or to write a paragraph on how one of these things makes Palestine a continued centerpiece of resistance. It's lasting longer than Black Lives Matter. It's lasting longer than Occupy Wall Street. It is also global. So I want us to do this exercise because it helps us to consider how these aspects relate to other places and spaces of resistance. It allows us to figure out how to tie things together. This is the critical thinking of it all. The comparative analysis, the comprehension. So the assignment is, I want you to find a specific thread that is attached to Palestine, pro-Palestine resistance, and expound upon how that specific thread relates not just to Palestine, but to other issues that could be drawing people to this space. Does this make sense? Let me know. If not, I will expand and expound. But ask me a direct question that you want me to expound upon. I'll wait. While I'm waiting, I'll be singing Scooba-Doo-Ba-Ba, a skee-bee-dee-dee. While I'm waiting, I'll be talking Shabba-Doo-Ba-Ba, Scoo-Da-Ba-Doo-Dee. Yes, Seraph Synergy, we played that yesterday on the show. Skee-bee-dee-dee-ba-ba-boo-ba-doo-dee. This is my whole music. Ska-doo-da-da, skee-da-dee-da, squaboo-doo-dee-da, skoo-da-dee, ska-da-doo-dee-dee-da-da-da-doo-dee-dee-dee. I purposely didn't write it out. Take notes. I purposely didn't write it out. Take notes. Skee-boo-doo-da-ba, boo-tee-da-tee-da-da, squadoo-dee-da, skee-dee-dee, ba-doo-dee-da, bee-ba-doo-ba-ba, I haven't gotten that part yet, Judy Moody. Umba-da-dee-day, ska-da-doo-da-doo-day, ska-da-doo-da-doo-day, dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, da-da-da-da-da, ska-da-doo-da-doo-day, squee-dee-dee-da-doo-day, skee-bee-dee-dee-da-doo-day-day. All right, so what is your question, Sweatshirt Shorty? If you want to make sure you're doing the assignment right, what is a question that you want to get clarity on? Ba-da-ba-ba, be-da-da-da, skoo-doo-da-da, skoo-da-da-da. Well, Olivia, that's fine. You can replay the episode. Squee-doo-ba-bow, ska-da. There you go, girl. Ska-da-dee-dow, da-da-da-da-dow, ba-boo-ba, ba-da-dum-be-dum-day, ska-da-dum-da-doo-day, ya-da-dum. Oh, can you rewrite it for me, Sweatshirt Shorty? I missed it. Ska-da-dum-da-doo-day, wee-dee-dee-dee. Okay, so Adrian asks, can we make multiple intersections or just stick to a single intersection? What I would like you to do is to stick to one, because that one will have multiple intersections within it. Okay, so let's use Congo, for example. If this assignment was applied to the Congo, then we could use uranium as the mineral as a reason why folks would be focusing on the Congo. So then once you dig into uranium, you start looking at, well, what does uranium actually make? Then you look at what are the countries that are using what uranium makes. Then you're going to look at, well, what do those countries, how do they interact? Are those countries interacting in a positive way? Are those countries interacting in an adversarial way? How does the way that those countries interact affect their constituencies, affect their citizens? You can also look at, okay, how does uranium affect the way that the U.S. is spending money? You see what I'm saying? So there's a whole intersectionality around that. Do-do-dum-dee-da, do-do-do-do-do. So I say things because I want to challenge you. Yes, it is going to be hard to write this in one paragraph. Can you write a paper? No. We need to be better at conciseness because we live in a time where people have short attention spans. So we need to be better at being able to get our points across in a quick fashion. People don't have time to do all of that. People don't have time, and people don't just have short attention spans because of, the social media, etc. People also have short attention spans for exactly what Mona Shalabi was talking about. Here in the United States in particular, people don't even have time. People don't even have time. Mando, I didn't ask you to add, edit what my question is. No, it's not why Palestine for you. That's not the question. The question is why Palestine. It's not the assignment is not why Palestine for you. That's not what the assignment is. The assignment is why Palestine. Why is Palestine specifically a garnering force for a global movement that has continued to exist even beyond other things that are happening in these communities? There's no minimum and maximum of sources. And it doesn't have to be formal. The reason why I'm giving this assignment is because we need to become better about talking about things like this in an informal way. It's not going to be always a scenario where you are speaking to people who are going to sit down and read through it and make it make sense. No, they're not. We need to be able to speak to each other. We need to be able to stand up in spaces and speak quickly and succinctly and get the point across. We need to be able to do that, and that is a skill that we are losing and that we don't have. So, Brainpower says, is there a way to get clarity on how Israel is both a play on special interests between nationalism and colonialism and Europe's play in lending support to the West while also leaning into global fascism? I genuinely don't understand this question. You don't need to cite your sources. No. Ross said, Amanda out here giving out master's thesis points. LOL. She said, y'all can't chat GPT this. No, you cannot chat GPT this. So what I want you to do is I want you to make these and then you're going to email them to this email. Hold on. Sorry. Sorry, one second. So what you're going to do is you are going to email this site, but you're not going to email your assignment to this site. You're going to email this site, and then you're going to email this site with my assignment, and you're going to put your YouTube name. Because then I'm going to check and see if you're a subscriber. And if you are a subscriber, this is how I'm going to help vet trolls. And if you are a subscriber, then I will send you a link where you can upload to a Dropbox, to a Google box. Okay? Now, is there anybody who wants to volunteer manning the email box to confirm that people are subscribers? It needs to be somebody who's already a member of the SEAL Squad. Is there anybody who wants to do that so that you can take that off of my back? Let me know. And if you do want to volunteer and you are a member of the SEAL Squad, send me a message in the Patreon. Okay, let me look back and see if I missed any questions. No one's asking you to answer the question right now. I see people answering the question in the chat. That's that's not what we're doing right now. Okay? That's not what we're doing right now. A question with 12 statements. Confusing. Then don't do the assignment. The question is not 12 statements. The question is one statement. The question is one thing. Why is Palestine a source for convergence in global resistance? Pick one reason why Palestine is a source for global convergence and prove it in a paragraph. I'm not sure what's difficult about that. Demonstrate the intersectionality of that one reason. That sounds very basic. Okay. Oh my God, I'm making this a homeschool assignment and I'm going to see what we come up with. Ooh, fun. Nia says, I was feeling down before watching the show today, but AmandaLand and SEAL Squad, I thank you. Yay. Yes. Oh, you late to class, Truth Sharub. You got to catch up. And so I know that people are in the chat are like, I think we should, and you can do that on your own time. This is a very specific question. Okay? This is a very specific question. And I see people putting stuff in the chat, and that's beautiful. I'm not going to bring it up here. So, just like, yes, Ross, I love you making these connections. Just like Nikkolas said, he's speed sketch and speed painting. So Amanda got us on program now. Yes, this is incredibly, it's a challenge that I give to you as somebody who has had to learn this skill. I have had to learn how to speak my thoughts in a concise, succinct fashion. And the beginning of that is being able to do that without pressure. And then you're going to need to learn how to do it under pressure. And we'll do exercises around that as well. Miss Seals, are you asking us to explain, to quote Denzel Washington from the movie Philadelphia, talk to me like I'm a 2-year-old? That would be, yeah, you can do that. You can do that. The submission deadline is by Saturday, March 29th. The condition submission deadline is Saturday, March 29th. Okay? So understand that if you submit a video, your video will be played if I feel like it's up to snuff. And same with your writings. So that Monday show, the 31st, will be all about answering this question. Okay? Han Solo was referring to, oh, okay, got it. And so shout out to Julie Smith, who says she's always learning something new here. Yesterday, I learned how the Irish ended up populating police forces. And today, my brain is swirling with ideas for the assignment. We love it. Yay! Correct. Exactly. So yes, I like this idea, Disco Kitchen. It's like an elevator pitch. You know, I remember one time being finally connected with Queen Latifah, and I was trying to get funding for a one-woman show that I was doing. And she was like, listen, you need to learn how to say what you're doing, say what you need, and say why you need that person's help in 30 seconds. That's what you need to do, because she was like, the people who can help you don't have time. They don't have time. And so 3 minutes is generous. As a stand-up, a lot of people cannot even get 5 minutes together. The other reason that I want you all to focus on this is because the truth is a short route. There's a lot of pontificating that goes on. There's a lot of extraneous, oh yeah, we doing all, and it's BS. The truth is a short route. So I want you to challenge yourself. Okay? I want you to challenge yourself. Concise. We call it not being precious. We call it killing your darlings, is what we call it. When you're editing, you really ask yourself, if this isn't here, would it undermine? Would it lose the depth of what I'm trying to say? And if the answer is no, let it go. Let it go. Okay? So, submission deadline, Saturday, March 29th. The assignment is why Palestine. And you are being asked to focus on one reason why Palestine has become such a strong centerpiece for global resistance, and expound upon that reason and its intersectionality. Why? Some of the suggestions: money, cultural responsibility, criminality, immigration, racism, discrimination. Okay? Sandy Parker reminds you, remember, you have to email the address on the screen. You have to email the address on the screen. I'll put it right here again. You're going to email the address on the screen, and then you will get an email for the actual assignment to be submitted. We first need to verify that you are a subscriber. We do not want trolls allowed. Okay? So shout out to our moderators, Elijah, Sandy, and Rolando, who do so much work here, keeping this a safe space. Sharing links with y'all, etc. It is absolutely a village and community that we are building here. All right? It's absolutely a community that we are building here. In either video form or a paragraph. Now, your paragraph doesn't need to be 3 sentences. Okay, you can have a little bit more oomph to that. But I just want you to have a thoughtfulness about length. I want there to be brevity. I don't want there to be extraness. Challenge yourself. Challenge yourself to be pointed and make every sentence count. Challenge yourself to make every sentence count. No throwaways. And when you're asking yourself, how do I know if a sentence counts? The sentence either elevates the point or it advances the point. It either elevates the point or it advances the point. I'll use Coming to America as an example because it is a show, it is a movie that has no extra lines. Every line in Coming to America either elevates the comedy or advances the story. Every single line. Judd Apatow films don't do that. No fluff. Elevate or advance. Anything else is pointless. Elevate or advance. Okay, so that is your assignment. I know y'all gonna miss me. I'm gonna be out of here. I gotta work. I'm really looking forward to finishing this book. And when I come back on Monday with my book finished, I want a celebration. I want pats on the back. Okay? For real. Let's get into our PSA. AmandaLand. PSA. So, one of the things that I encourage everybody to do in these times is to try something new, particularly something new that can help you in these times. The reason why doing something new is so important is because, one, it gives you something to look forward to. Two, it allows your brain to continue to expand and to stay engaged, keeps your mental healthy. But three, and this is why I say do something that can help you in these times, it really does empower you and give you a certain sense of groundedness and a sense of self-love that you will need. When I talk about save yourself, what I'm talking about is that you have abilities within you that you've never had to call on. You have vision and consciousness within you that you may have never had to call on. And it is time for you to explore and expand what your capabilities are. So for me, I am going to sign up for Taekwondo. I have never done martial arts. However, I want to increase, one, my physical strength, two, my ability to defend myself, and three, my focus. And I know that martial arts is one way that I can do that. I'm also becoming obsessed with South Korea, so there's that. However, I really do believe that it's imperative that we continue to challenge ourselves, as well as give ourselves the opportunity to impress ourselves. For some of you, it might be, I want to learn holistic healing. For some of you, it might be, I want to learn how to forage. For some of you, it might be, I want to get better at gardening, or I want to start gardening. I want to plant fruits and vegetables. For some of you, it might be, I want to start reading. Like, I really don't be reading. And the question becomes then, what are you reading, right? For some of you, it might be, I want to actually get better understanding of the United States Constitution. Whatever it is, it's about challenging yourself to expand into something new that can also help ground you as we are devolving into a new terror. We are humans. We are essentially AI. I believe that our souls are what ignites our motherboard. And so this will have to be a response to some soul searching. So don't just, be willy-nilly about this. Sit with yourself anywhere. It could be when you get home and you sit in the car before you go inside and face inside. Sit with yourself. Get real quiet. And try to separate your mind as it exists in the world from the soul that speaks in your body. And ask your soul, what do I need to learn? What do I need to learn? Now, I see people in here talking about, I'm going to learn guitar or I want to learn how to play chess. Okay, but I am speaking about learning things that fortify you for the next phase of where we are. And I don't know, unless you're going to be writing songs, I don't know that that's going to really do it. But all of it is really about fortifying yourself, your people, your communities, etc. And Fatima closes us out. What skill you bringing to the apocalypse? I have a feeling that Luck Dragon is a troll. Let's pay attention to Luck Dragon because I feel like there's been too many comments that I didn't care for. So shout out to everybody out there who's going to get in touch with their soul and figure out what their soul is asking to learn. Can't wait to hear about it. PSA. Ooh, yeah. Come on now. Let's close out the show. Show your love. Hey, show your love. It's been a good one, y'all. Show your love. You can't say I don't got endurance. Show your love. 3 hours, 2 days in a row. Keep me in the cash app, baby. Drop a super, baby. So next week, I'm gonna be out for show. Don't miss me too much, too much. I'm gonna be at my desk writing, you know. It's gonna be so good to let my brain wrap around the next project. It's coming out in November. Body waving through the bush. You can already pre-order. Show your love. Get a super show your love in the Cash App. Show your love. Pre-order. Show your love. Go to Patreon. Show your love. And be back when I return on Monday, March 31st. Bum. All right, y'all. It's been a real one. And I hope everybody has an incredible rest of the week. And I hope to see you tomorrow night at Smart, Funny, and Black at the movies at Nighthawk Theater, where we'll be watching They Clone Tyrone. Big ups to our guest, Nikkolas Smith, who actually was one of the concept artists for They Clone Tyrone. Amazing! And make sure that you go out and support all of his works. I can't wait to get the new book, and I love that it has research attached to it because we got to be teaching the babies with these facts. You hear me? With these facts. Again, I will be out of office, but you know your assignment. Why Palestine? You know your assignment, and I cannot wait to see how the AmandaLanders come through when we get to showing off your responses. Assignments. This is the work, y'all. We're doing the work. We're having a good time while we're doing the work. I love to see it. Let's get into our 30 seconds of stillness.
30 seconds of stillness.
Arm yourself with truth. Arm yourself with curiosity. Arm yourself with love. Arm yourself with community. Arm yourself with courage. Arm yourself with passion. Arm yourself with radical creativity. Save yourself. A new drop from AmandaLand Export.
What's your relationship like with your father?
Soup is good, but bisque is great.
I appreciate that way of thinking.
Are these even people? Go f yourself. Oh my God, Amanda!
Topper Shanks.
Damn, Topra!
Slow clap.
I enjoyed laughing and learning with you. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And tell your friends. Also, listen to the podcast. It's available everywhere pods are casted. Listen ad-free by subscribing to Patreon Amanda Seals. Come on and join the Seals Squad. Views from AmandaLand. Live 10 a.m. Eastern Monday through Wednesday with content on Thursday and Friday at YouTube Amanda Seals TV.
Smart, funny, and